Welcome to Power to Unlocked. Today, we're diving into a timeless secret that has fascinated minds for centuries. How to make anyone obsessed with you, inspired by the cunning insights of Machiavelli. Imagine having the power to captivate anyone's attention so deeply that they can't help but be drawn to you, almost as if you hold an invisible magnet. What if I told you this isn't some magical trick, but a blend of psychological strategies and human nature that have been studied and practiced by some of history's most influential figures? Niccolo Machiavelli, a man often misunderstood as just a political schemer, actually understood the delicate art of influence and desire more than most. His observations on power, manipulation, and control reveal that obsession isn't about forcing someone to feel a certain way. It's about mastering the subtle dance of emotions, perceptions, and timing. But how exactly did Machiavelli teach us to unlock that kind of magnetic pull? What are the hidden moves beneath the surface of everyday interactions that make some people unforgettable, irresistible, even addictive to others? This isn't just about romance or superficial attraction. It's about influence at its core, how to tap into the deepest desires and fears that drive human behavior. We're going to explore how your presence, words, and even silence can become tools that draw people toward you in ways they might not even fully understand. But beware, this path isn't simple or without its shadows. The line between genuine connection and manipulation can blur, and that's part of what makes this topic so fascinating and dangerous. In this video, you'll meet the ideas that shaped not just politics and leadership, but the very way people connect and crave one another's attention. You'll discover why obsession isn't accidental but carefully cultivated through strategy and understanding of human nature. We'll peel back layers on psychological tactics Machiavelli might have endorsed, applied to modern-day relationships and social dynamics. As we unfold this story, you might start to notice patterns in your own life, moments when someone's attention felt like a flame you couldn't put out, or when your own thoughts kept returning to a person for no clear reason. What if those moments weren't just chance, but something that could be understood, shaped, even controlled? But here's where it gets even more intriguing. While some people use these principles consciously, others fall victim to them without realizing it. The power to make someone obsessed with you walks a fine line between influence and ethical responsibility. And that tension, the balance between using this knowledge for good or for manipulation, is exactly what we'll grapple with as this story unfolds. So, are you ready to step into the world where psychology meets strategy, where human desire meets careful design? This journey will challenge what you thought about attraction, control, and connection. It will raise questions you didn't expect and leave you wondering how far you'd go to hold someone's attention forever. But for now, hold on to that thought. Because in the next part, we'll dive deeper into the specific techniques and mindsets that can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary, the hidden keys Machiavelli left behind for those willing to unlock the secrets of obsession. Stay tuned, because what comes next might change the way you see every relationship from now on. The idea of making someone obsessed with you might sound like something out of a movie or a manipulation handbook, but at its core, it's about understanding what drives people beneath the surface. It's about tapping into emotions and desires that often go unnoticed, even by the people themselves. Machiavelli lived in a time when power wasn't just about armies or crowns, it was about winning hearts, minds, and loyalties. And obsession is one of the most powerful forms of loyalty there is. Think about the last time you couldn't stop thinking about someone. Maybe it was a crush, a friend, or even a rival. What was pulling you in? Was it their words, their presence, or something more mysterious, like the way they made you feel about yourself? This is no accident. There are hidden forces at work in every interaction, and once you start to notice them, you realize how easy it is to influence someone without even trying. But this power can also backfire. If you push too hard or reveal your intentions too quickly, people pull away. The obsession fades, and what was once magnetic becomes repulsive. Machiavelli's teachings remind us that patience and subtlety are everything. It's about planting seeds of curiosity, trust, and admiration that grow slowly over time. The mystery, the unanswered questions you leave someone with, can be just as important as the things you share. People obsess over the unknown because it sparks their imagination and fills the gaps with what they want to believe. That's why being too available or predictable can kill fascination faster than anything else. But what about the risk? What happens when the obsession becomes unhealthy or dangerous? That line between fascination and fixation is thin, and crossing it can lead to consequences neither party wants. This is the shadow side of the very power Machiavelli described, a power that demands respect, self-awareness, and a deep understanding of human nature. It's not just about making someone obsessed with you, but about holding that attention without losing yourself or hurting others. In the next part, we'll explore the core strategies that bring this delicate balance to life. How to use presence, mystery, and timing to captivate someone's mind and heart. We'll also look at the subtle psychological triggers that turn fleeting interest into lasting obsession. But before we get there, it's important to understand that this is not a quick fix or a simple formula. It's a complex dance, and like all dances, it requires practice, awareness, and respect. So, if you're ready to uncover the secrets Machiavelli might have kept hidden, to step into a world where influence becomes an art, then stay with me. Because what you're about to learn could change the way you connect with everyone around you, and perhaps even the way you see yourself. What makes this whole idea even more complicated is that obsession isn't just one-sided. It's a two-way street. A silent game where both people are constantly reacting and adapting without always knowing it. While you might be trying to spark fascination in someone else, they're doing the same to you, whether consciously or not. This creates a push and pull, a dance of desire and restraint that keeps tension alive. Sometimes the more you chase, the more the other person pulls away, and the harder it becomes to hold their attention. Other times, a simple absence, a well-timed silence, can draw them closer than ever before. This conflict becomes even more tangled when you consider how people's past experiences shape what they're drawn to. Someone might become obsessed because you represent something they've lost or never had, a feeling of importance, adventure, or even mystery. But that obsession can also reveal deeper insecurities or fears. So, while you might be focused on making someone obsessed with you, you're also stepping into their emotional world, and the risks grow with every step. On another level, there's the conflict within yourself. How far are you willing to go to hold someone's attention? When does influence become manipulation? And is it possible to keep someone obsessed without losing your own authenticity? Machiavelli's lessons don't give easy answers, and that's what makes them so powerful and so dangerous. You might find yourself caught in a web of your own making, where the lines between control, connection, and obsession blur. Meanwhile, the world around you adds another layer of complexity. Social media, constant communication, and the pressure to perform create new challenges in how obsession plays out today. In a world where everyone is competing for attention, standing out takes more than just simple tricks. It requires a deep understanding of psychology, timing, and emotional intelligence. So the question remains, can you master this delicate balance and truly make someone obsessed with you, or will the very power you seek slip through your fingers? The answers lie ahead, but the journey is anything but straightforward. As the stakes rise, the subtle dance of obsession becomes a high-wire act, where every move can tip the balance between fascination and rejection. You start to see the power of silence, the pauses in conversation, the unanswered messages that pull someone deeper into your orbit. But with every unanswered text or delayed reply, tension grows. They wonder, are you distant because you don't care, or is there something more behind the silence? That uncertainty gnaws at the mind, and it's exactly what fuels obsession. Yet too much silence, and the connection can break. Too little, and the mystery fades. At the same time, your own emotions begin to tangle with the game. The lines blur between genuine feeling and calculated strategy. You find yourself questioning, am I playing with fire? Can I keep control, or will obsession turn against me? The risk is real. When you stir such powerful emotions, they can spiral beyond what you intended. The person you've drawn close might become trapped in their own obsession, losing themselves in the process. Or worse, they could pull away in confusion or fear, breaking the fragile connection you worked so hard to build. Outside forces add pressure too. Friends notice changes, doubts creep in, and the social world watches silently. Everyone seems to sense the tension, but no one knows how it will end. This is the edge of something big, something that could either transform relationships forever or shatter everything in an instant. And so you stand at the crossroads. Do you reveal more, risking the mystery that fuels their fascination? Or do you keep them wanting, walking the fine line between closeness and distance? The answers hang in the air, heavy with possibility and danger. What happens next will change everything. But for now, the suspense is electric. Every heartbeat, every glance, every silence charged with the weight of what's to come. Just when you think you've figured out the rhythm of this delicate dance, the unexpected happens. A shift that changes everything and throws the entire game into chaos. Suddenly, the person you thought was obsessed begins to pull away, but not in the way you imagined. It's not because they've lost interest or grown tired. No, it's something deeper, more unsettling. Behind their distant behavior lies a secret they've been hiding, a vulnerability or a past experience that makes obsession a double-edged sword for them. This revelation shakes the foundation of what you believed about control and influence. Now, the stakes are higher than ever. You're no longer just trying to make someone obsessed. You're navigating the fragile territory of emotional wounds and fears that could either strengthen or shatter the bond. The power you hold feels heavier, almost dangerous, because it's clear that obsession isn't just about attraction. It's about trust, trauma, and the unseen battles people fight within themselves. This twist introduces a new layer of conflict. While your desire to captivate and hold their attention remains strong, you realize that you're also responsible for walking carefully through their emotional minefield. One wrong move, and the obsession you cultivated could turn into fear or resentment. It's a balancing act that requires more than just psychological tactics. It demands empathy, patience, and honesty, even if those feel like weaknesses in a game built on control. As this internal struggle unfolds, the outside world watches with its own judgments and expectations. Friends question your intentions, whispers spread, and the pressure to maintain appearances grows. Social media amplifies every interaction, every pause, every message left unread. The digital age adds its own twists to the story, making obsession more visible, but also more fragile. Amidst all this, you start to question what obsession really means. Is it a form of connection or a trap that ensnares both people? Can something so intense survive without breaking? The answers aren't clear, and the tension builds like a storm on the horizon. You're standing at the edge of the climax now, caught between control and chaos, between desire and danger. The next moves you make won't just determine the fate of this obsession. They'll define who you are in the process. The question remains, will you master the art Machiavelli hinted at, or will the very obsession you sought slip away forever? The story is far from over, and the most intense moments are yet to come. Just when it feels like everything is on the brink of collapse, a moment of clarity breaks through the chaos. The person you sought to make obsessed with you finally confronts their own fears and vulnerabilities, bringing the hidden emotional battles into the open. In that vulnerable moment, something shifts. Instead of spiraling further into confusion or fear, they choose to trust you, not because of manipulation or strategy, but because they see something real beneath the carefully crafted facade. It's not obsession born from mystery or silence anymore. It's a genuine connection grounded in honesty. This turning point resolves the main conflict between control and authenticity. The power dynamic softens, replaced by mutual understanding. You realize that the true key to making anyone obsessed isn't about tricks or tactics. It's about being willing to be seen, to show your own imperfections, and to invite someone else to do the same. Machiavelli's lessons on influence, once seen as cold strategy, reveal a deeper truth. Lasting fascination grows from emotional risk, not distance. Yet, just as the tension seems to ease, an unexpected twist strikes. The person you thought you had drawn close reveals they had been guarding their own form of control all along, a secret they kept hidden until now. Their apparent vulnerability was part of a carefully guarded strategy, a mirror to your own efforts. They weren't just a passive player in your game, they had been influencing you, weaving their own web of fascination. This revelation shakes the foundation of everything you believed about obsession and influence. The story turns from a one-sided pursuit into a complex interplay of power and vulnerability, showing that obsession isn't ever truly one person's to command. It's a shared dance, sometimes gentle, sometimes fierce, where both people hold pieces of control and both risk losing themselves. In the end, the line between captor and captive blurs. You see that obsession, influence, and connection are intertwined in ways more complicated than you ever imagined. The journey doesn't end with mastery, but with acceptance. That human connection is unpredictable, messy, and full of surprises. And so, the final question lingers. If obsession can't be fully controlled, what does it really mean to be truly connected? The answer, it seems, is still unfolding. As the dust settles from the twists and turns of this journey, one truth becomes clear. Obsession is far more than a game of control or manipulation. It is a reflection of our deepest human need to be seen, understood, and valued. The person you once sought to captivate was never just an object of fascination. They were a complex individual with their own desires, fears, and intentions. And so were you. What started as a quest to make someone obsessed with you evolves into a profound lesson about connection. True influence, it turns out, doesn't come from secrets or silence alone, but from the courage to be authentic, even when it feels risky. When both people let down their guards, the fascination shifts from obsession to something richer, genuine closeness. Throughout this story, we've seen how Machiavelli's timeless insights apply not just to politics or power, but to the delicate dance of relationships in everyday life. His strategies remind us to be mindful of timing, mystery, and human nature, but also to respect the boundaries where influence ends and manipulation begins. That balance is what makes attraction sustainable, what keeps someone coming back. Not because they feel controlled, but because they feel connected. The unexpected twist, the revelation that obsession is a shared dance, leaves us with a powerful reflection. In any relationship, both sides shape the story. We influence and are influenced. We pursue and are pursued. And in that dynamic lies the true magic of human connection. So, if you're wondering how to make anyone obsessed with you, the answer isn't about tricks or formulas. It's about understanding people at their core, respecting their emotions, and being willing to be vulnerable yourself. Obsession may start with mystery and strategy, but lasting fascination grows from honesty and empathy. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the art of influence and obsession, inspired by Machiavelli's timeless wisdom. Remember, the most powerful connections are those built on authenticity and mutual respect. If you found this story insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into human nature and psychology. Until next time, keep exploring the mysteries of connection and the fascinating dance of influence that shapes every relationship in our lives.